My name is Blaine. I'm with DMS Plumbing. Today we're going to show you how to clean copper and prepare it before we solder. So first, there's different thicknesses of copper. You got L, M, and K. K can be used for pretty much anything that you can use any other copper for. M is only for in the walls, nothing underground. This is a piece of M that's been used before. You can tell it's very dirty, very corroded. So the goal is to get it to where it's nice and shiny and clean. So what we use is a little piece of emery cloth or sand cloth. So you start to where you want to put your fitting at. So sometimes when it's really old and corroded, you can get it to where it still looks a little bit dirty, but it's actually pretty clean. Sometimes you can get it where it's nice and shiny is what your aim is. Something similar to that, and you can tell there's a little bit still left of the corrosion on there. It's best to use gloves, otherwise your hands come out green when you're done. So once it's clean, the code says you're supposed to ream the pipe, which is basically what you're trying to do is any kind of edge on the inside, you want to make sure it's perfectly the same size all the way around. And some tubing cutters for copper actually have one built in. This is just a separate one, makes it a little bit easier because it's easier to handle. So if you have a tubing cutter, many of them have them right here on the back. You can do the same thing right in here. So once you have it nice and shiny and clean, you're going to use a little bit of flux. And there's a lot of different brands, different preferences on different brands. So once you put it on there, different heat. If it's hot outside, it's going to be some of them are a little bit more liquidy. You don't need a lot, just a thin coating on there. I'm going to leave that right here. You're also going to need, obviously need a fitting, a coupling, a 90, whatever you're going to use. And same thing, where the pipe's going to sit inside there, you want that nice and clean. So once you're sure that's completely clean, it's easier to make sure and do it twice if you need to, rather than having to leak and having to redo everything. Same thing, you're going to put a little bit of flux right where that piece goes. You don't need a lot, doesn't have to be really thick. You want to make sure it wipes all around, and then at that point, you're ready to solder.